is but a gamble from the cradle to the grave. Ah, these were the famous words used by my dearly departed mother over and over through the years, especially at times when they were tough. She had a bunch of other little sayings that she would use also. She would say, you gotta play the hand you've been dealt. You gotta play that hand. Can't toss it in. Another one of her favorite sayings was, you know, everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Now, another thing she would say is, you know, whenever you go to somebody's house, you always ring the doorbell with your elbows. Make sure they're all filled with goodies. Now, one thing she would say pretty much on a daily basis to me, she would say, now before you leave the house, make sure that you have a change of underwear on. Just in case you get into an accident and you have to go to the hospital, we don't want any problems. And she would wink. I'd say, okay, Ma, not a problem at all. Now, I wonder what my dearly departed mother would think about this new economy that we're in right now. I know she'd have something to say about credit cards. She'd say, oh, what did I tell you about that plastic? What did I tell you? Anybody using that plastic on tick, she used to call it tick. You see what happens? Always pay with everything that's in your pocket. Make sure that you can afford it before you buy something. She also would say, you know, there's probably only going to be 2 car companies left in the United States. Hasbro and Mattel. That's it. And she would say also, she would say something like, you know, I turned on the television and I see this Billy Mays. This guy with a big black beard, Billy Mays over here, telling me how I'm supposed to clean my bathroom tile scum. And then you turn on the other channel and he's over here telling you how to buy life insurance. Well, which one is it? The life insurance or the clean tiles? I don't believe, she wouldn't believe either one of them. And that appliance direct guy that's on, my mother's Scotch, and she would say, do you see what he was saying on television? I had bought a refrigerator, and now he's telling me that I paid too much money? Oh, that would be wicked for her, since she was Scotch. And she would say, you know, I read in the newspaper that it's costing a penny and a half to make a penny. A penny and a half to make a penny in the government. That wouldn't make much sense to her at all. She would say all the pennies that's floating around out there under the couches and so forth. You know, you'd think that somebody would have a day we'd turn them all in. We wouldn't have to manufacture anymore. And she would say, can you imagine if this same government had $1 trillion that they were going to have to deal with? She wouldn't like that at all. But the one thing my mom would be very happy about with me is the fact that I took up golf, that I love to play golf. Now, that being the national pastime of the Scotch and the home and the birthplace of golf, she would say, it must be in the boy's DNA that he's got out there. And then I would have to tell her that I was only down here in Florida for the first 4 months, and I had heard about a beautiful golf course called Deer Island. It was over in Tavares, and everybody that had played it that I talked to said, make sure you bring a lot of golf balls with you, because you're going to lose a lot of golf balls, because you're on an island. I said, oh, okay. Well, I went over there 9:30 Saturday morning, and as usual, I was going out as a single, and they paired me up with a couple of older gentlemen. We shook hands, we started playing, and everything was going along fine until the 16th hole. The older gentleman teed off, I teed off, and I hit my ball, and there it goes, into the woods. Now, I got into my golf cart, they got into their golf cart, and I said to them, fellas, now listen, I'm not going to spend too much time in the woods there looking for the ball, but you just keep on going, and I'll catch up to you, and if I have to, I'll lose the ball. I started into the woods, and I'm looking, and I'm trying to see, and there was a lot of leaves, and there was a lot of shrubbery over here, and I said, I'll just look over here by this big log, and I just looked. That's when I saw it. I saw the eye flickering up and down. And I looked, and it was all a big, dirty, scaly body. And the more I looked, the more I could see it was huge. It looked to me like it had swallowed a 747. It was huge. It was a gator. I stopped. What am I going to do? If I took another step, I was going to step right on the back of that gator. Now I'm trying to remember. They tell you when you run away from a gator, do you zigzag or do you run straight? I couldn't remember and I couldn't think. And the eye just kept flickering back and forth at me. And I'm looking. And I'm thinking, I got to make a break for it. And I turned, and I went right through those trees, and I got out into the fairway, and I'm yelling to the older gentleman, "Gators! Gators!" They didn't see anything coming behind me at all. They didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, "Yes, gators!" I got into my car, and I said to them as I passed them, I said, "I'm going right to the pro shop, and I'm going to tell them what I just had happen to me." And I did. I went right to the pro shop. I busted through those glass doors. There was a line of people waiting to do some credit cards so that they could go out and play golf. And I said, "Hold it, everybody. Hold it right now. You're taking your life in the hands." I almost died. There was a gator out there. I almost died. I went to play golf and I almost died. Well, the man behind the desk was quite calm about the situation. He said, "Sir, settle down, settle down." I said, "No, you don't understand. I've never seen a gator in my life." He says, "I know by the way you're talking. You must be from the north." I said, "That's right. I only seen gators in magazines and on TV." He said, "Well, sir, we're on an island." And I said, "Well, you should post signs. Guy from north could be eaten this afternoon. See, you don't want to have this kind of stuff, this kind of publicity." Well, the people there were mulling about it. And he said, "Don't worry about it, folks. This happened. We're on an island." I said, "No, don't go out there. Don't go out there. You will die." And he said, "Sir, what would you like to have me do?" And I said, "Shut the course down. I want to have the course shut down." He said, "We can't do that. But I'll tell you what we can do. You get me the name and address of that gator, and I'll send him a letter, and I'll tell him, you're never to come back on this island again." Well, the people in line started to laugh. They were getting a big belly laugh out of this whole thing, looking at me and perspiring. I said, "That's not good enough. That's not good enough. I will never be back here to play golf again." Okay. Out the door I went in a huff. Oh my. It wasn't but 2 months later. I'm playing golf at the Daytona North and South. Now, I'm playing with two fellas who are from Canada, French-Canadian fellas who had a little problem with the accents. We're playing a fine round of golf, and my ball gets hit into the woods. But this time, I have known a little bit better. And I say to the two French-Canadian fellas, "Don't worry, you can stay right out there, because I'm not going deep into the woods at all. I could care less about the ball." And I dropped a new ball right here, and I went to get my club. And as I'm starting back to get with my club, one of the French-Canadians got out of the car. He starts running towards me. He's got a club in his hand, just like he's going to hit me in the head. And I start backing off like this. What is going on? And he's running with two hands in the air. Hey! He's yelling. Whack! He hits the ground right in front of me. I hear splash. I look down. With the next twist, he pulls up. A black snake dripped over the club. He says, "Monsieur, this is a water moccasin. He was zigzagging right to your leg. If he, in fact, bit you, you could die right here without us being able to get you to the pro shop." Well, that's all I needed to hear. I knew what the drill was going to be. I got in my golf cart and I went right to the pro shop. I busted through those doors. I said, hold it, everybody. You can die out in this course. Do you realize you can die out there? There's snakes. And everybody that was standing waiting, they sort of recognized it. I said, no, you don't understand. I almost died. The snake almost bit me. The guy with the hammer. Sir, what would you like us to do about it? And I thought, now, this is a big joke around the golf courses. It must be that we'll send a letter to the snakes and all that. And I said, no. You're not going to get me with that joke that you all have. And he said to me, well, you know something, sir? He said, I wasn't going to make a joke. He said, I was just going to tell you that you were real lucky that you didn't run into an alligator.